Welcome to our channel. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe.
Scooby-Doo and the Apple Thief. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy jumped out of the Mystery Machine. "Like any pizza around here?" said Shaggy. "I'm starving." "Pizza! Pizza!" Scooby said. The rest of the gang climbed out of the van laughing. "There's no pizza here," said Velma. "This is an apple orchard." "That's right," said Daphne. "We're here to pick apples." Shaggy and Scooby picked up the apple crates and looked puzzled. "We're here to pick apples?" Shaggy moaned. "Not eat them?" "Eating comes later," Daphne promised. "Like, I'm so hungry," Shaggy said. "I'm going to pick more apples than anyone." "Don't be so sure," Velma smiled. "I've read books about picking apples. I know exactly how to do it." Shaggy showed Velma just how tall he is and how his height made him a better apple picker. "Let's have a contest," he said. "We can split into groups and the winners get to eat all the apples." Shaggy pictured apple pies and apple jam. Scooby pictured candy apples and sweet applesauce. "Let the contest begin," said Velma. Everyone took baskets. Shaggy and Scooby went one way. Daphne led Fred and Velma the other way. Shaggy and Scooby worked together as a team. Scooby held a bucket, and Shaggy picked apples as quickly as he could. Feeling like he picked a ton of apples, Shaggy checked the basket. "Zoinks!" he cried. "It's empty!" Shaggy eyed Scooby. "Did you eat the apples?" "Ray," said Scooby. "Roo ate the rapples." "Like, no way for me too," Shaggy said. Scooby and Shaggy shrugged, then started picking apples all over again. They reached and pulled and picked and tossed. Shaggy peeked in the basket. Empty again. "Scooby, stop eating the apples," Shaggy cried. Scooby shook his head. "Rop eating." "If you're not eating the apples," said Shaggy, "and I'm not eating the apples, who's eating the apples?" All at once, Scooby shivered. It was getting cold. The sun was going down. They needed apples to win the contest. But the apples kept disappearing. "We have to figure this out," said Shaggy, "before it is too late." "Who did this?" Shaggy called out. "Who? Who?" a voice called back. Shaggy and Scooby jumped. "Who said that?" They couldn't see anybody. "We should call the police," said Shaggy. "Call! Call!" said a voice. They peered into the darkness. "Who is taunting us?" "Someone is out there," Shaggy said. "But we can't see him. He must be invisible." All of a sudden, an apple hit Shaggy on the head. "Ouch!" An apple hit Scooby on the head. "Rouch!" "It's an apple attack!" Shaggy cried. Apples crashed down one after the other. "Run for your life, Scoob, old buddy," Shaggy said. They turned to speed away, but lost their footing and slipped on wet leaves. Tumbling to the ground, they bumped into something. Big, tall, solid, giant arms trapped them. "It's the Invisible Man!" Shaggy shouted. The ground was shaking. They heard thudding footsteps, breaking branches. They couldn't see. "More invisible men! It's a whole army!" Shaggy wailed. "We're goners!" Jinky, said a voice. We finally found you. That sounds just like Velma, said Shaggy. Velma brushed the wet leaves from their eyes. It is Velma, she said. Shaggy and Scooby jumped straight up. You're all here. You must have scared away the invisible men. Shaggy explained about the missing apples. The voices taunting them, the apples hitting them on the head, the giant arms grabbing them. Velma tugged on 2 low-hanging branches. These are your giant arms. You ran into a tree, but you couldn't tell because leaves covered your eyes. Hoo, hoo, caw, caw. The gang heard it too this time. Said Velma. Those sounds are familiar. Look, said Daphne, an owl and a crow. Next, Velma picked up the basket. Aha! There's a hole in it. That's why the apples disappeared. They kept falling out. But what about the apple attack? Shaggy asked as another apple hit his head. Ouch! Fred grinned. The apples are ripe. The wind blows them down, or they fall on their own. The mystery was solved, but now it was so dark that the gang didn't know which path led back to the van. How will we find our way back? Asked Daphne. Look at this, Scoob, said Shaggy. All our apples are in a row. It's like a trail, said Velma. We can follow the apples to find our way back. But, said Shaggy, how do we know who won the contest? Velma grinned. I bet you can walk, eat, and count at the same time. Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Thank you for watching our videos. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe. Here are some videos we thought you might like.